Hey everybody, welcome to the Tone Church. We're back with our Fender Champion 600 that we tore apart and rebuilt it point to point to the 1957 Fender Tweed 5F1 Champ circuit. Today we're going to do the finishing touches on this thing. What I noticed right after I finished filming the last video on this amplifier is, get in there, all the demos I did, I thought I was using a 12AX7, but in fact we were using this guy. Can you see that? No, you can't see that. We were using a 12AU7, and I was really confused because I popped in an AY7 in the 5751 expecting the gain to go down, and it went up, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And then it dawned on me after I was all done with that last one that, oh shit, we got the AU7 in there. So, like we had before, when I built this thing the first 3 times, it just has way too much gain and saturation. Come on. And here she is. There it is, 12AU7. So what I think the problem is the output transformer is just putting out way too much voltage. Ooh, wow. Easy come, easy go. So we're going to have to lower that voltage. And I think I found a solution for that. And then we're also going to have to, I still don't have a CTS or a high quality pot for this, so that'll have to wait. But we're also going to screw up our lighting rig, fix the grill cloth here. So those 2 things, and then we'll try her out again, and hopefully she'll be should be real nice. All right, so if that all sounds interesting to you, not sure why it would, but if it does, hang tight. Here we go. All right, we got the chassis and the speaker out. That strange cat down there. We're going to pull the baffle out, and that's just 4 screws. And then we'll fix that grill cloth, get that out of the way. Get all the staples out. Oh, making a mess over here. But now we're going to hopefully reuse this piece of grill cloth and just make it straight. Should be fun. Uh-oh. Oh, that will not do. Fuck is my staple gun? Ooh, use these later. Ah, here we go. The grill cloth has been disconnected from the baffle on 3 sides here, and it's still kind of wavy. So it's kind of been stretched, I think, or maybe it's just not straight to begin with. You know, how straight is straight. But I'll go dig into the storage area, and we'll cut a new piece of grill cloth and see how that comes out. Oh boy, I just had to go down into the tone dungeon and dig out some grill cloth, but that's fine. I needed to dig this guy out anyway. Got the sun in my eyes. I'm gonna build a retail version of the channel selector foot switch for this, but that's not why we're here. We're here because we need to fix this grill cloth. And I have the original kind, and I have this nice kind right here. So we'll see what the owner wants to do. And if he doesn't get back to us in time, I'll do what I want to do. All right, here comes the fun. If you're thinking about adding grill cloth or replacing grill cloth on one of your amplifiers and you've never done it before, I recommend you get a pattern where the the lines aren't as, obvious like on this one with the yellow lines, because it is a little bit tricky.
It's tricky.
I tell you what. Alright, what we're going to do here is we're going to set this in this axis so that when we roll it over, we're going to have one of these yellow lines right at the corner, right at the edge, edge corner, and use that as a guide. So right about there looks good, and this will hopefully help us keep it straight. Oh God, what's going on here? Let's try that again. Bam! We're just going to try and keep this as straight as humanly possible. Uh-oh, something just fell behind the bench. Hope it wasn't important. Probably a bucket brigade trip. Oh yeah. It gets easier as you go along, thankfully. Oh, yeah, another thing you're going to want to do is watch out for the screw holes. That'll cause a problem. And the problem is we want to get it tight, but we don't want it so tight that it starts getting all wavy. Oh, this is not straight. We're going to have to do this side again. So yeah, it's a pain in the butt. You just do it till you get it right. Hang tight. I'm going to undo these staples and try this section again. We're a little bit off. Alright, I did it again, and we're going to have to go with good enough is good enough. It's a half a micron off. But, fucking deal with it. Or do it yourself. Anyway, what we're doing now, we got the tops all stapled in. We're going to take our razor blade and we're going to cut the edge down to the surface of the workbench, like so. So we have something like that. Can you see that? Do that on both sides. It's just like doing Tolex. Can you see that? Now you can't see shit. How's that? Here we go.
Brought to you by NordVPN.
Right down, there we go. Alright, and now I'm going to do the opposite end here. Here we, oh, good, and there's a nice line right on the edge. That worked out perfectly. Give her a whack. I need 3 hands to do this. Bam! Alright, the hard part's over. And it's the same technique. We're going to staple this edge. And then we're going to cut that side and this side once this is all stapled. And when I get to that point, I'll check back in with you. Alright, top and bottom are stapled. Looks okay, it's not too loose. And so we're going to roll this guy over. We got a lot of extra shit here. Hold on. Let's get this guy down to size. About that much there. May as well, while we're doing that, do this side as well. So, about right here. Alright. Now we want to pull it just a little bit snug, but we don't want to kill it because then we'll get waviness. And checking the other side with the tautness I have on this side, does not look like we're getting any waviness or funkiness, so we're going to go ahead and whack this. These friggin' staples, man. Yeah, anyway. Do it again. There we go. All right. Yeah, that'll be fine. All right, so we're going to do the same technique as we did before, except on here. And we'll flip it around and do it here. Bam, 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 bam.
Bam, bam.
Stay tuned. All right, almost done. Got the third edge done. And what I found after you do the top and bottom, when you go to do the side, instead of putting a staple in the middle, because these guys are already fastened down, it's easier to stretch the side from the middle than it is from the edge. And so then it's very easy to get it to, you know, not be straight. So put your first staple, pull this taut, not tight, but just, you know, a little bit snug, and start from one edge and then work your way down this way. That seems to have worked better for me. So we'll do it over here now. And just a teeny tiny little bit snug. Nope, lost her. We lost her. Get her back. Like so. And then just work your way down. Trying to keep it the same snugness. Is there an actual unit of measurement for snugness? Snugness. Snugs. Micro snugs. Nano snugs. Oh, God. Millisnugs. Pico snugs. 1.21 gigasnugs. Yeah, that looks pretty fat. You see that? That's not bad, even for a dummy. Alright, and finally, what we're going to do here. What are we going to do here? There's a proper way to do this, and it's escaping me. I'll do it like Tolex. Cut diagonally. Like so. Yeah, this is very unlike Tolex because it's stapled down. So we'll just give it a little cut over here. You're never going to see this anyway. Cut over here. Alright. And we'll make this corner all nice right here. With 1.21 mega snugs. You see that? That's going to be beautiful. And this grill cloth material is made out of plastic basically. So all these little snags and fraying edges, what you can do to get that from getting out of control is just grab a heat source and melt the edges. And then the final thing we're going to do is you're going to want to make holes for the screws to screw down the baffle. See if we can find them. Okay, so it's right here. Put an awl or a poker through. Heat it up. For this we're going to use a blast torch. Get this nice and hot. And what this will do is melt a nice little hole in your grill cloth. And that way when you put the screw through, it doesn't break all the little threads and you get a bunch of fraying and stuff like that. It'll be a nice melted plastic hole. So that's it. I'm going to finish the other three corners up. Finish the other three holes up, and we'll have a nice looking straight parallel, perpendicular, and all other respects perfectly nice grill cloth. Alright, we have the amp back up on the bench. I have a 12AX7 in the preamp stage, not a 12AU7 now. One thing I noticed is I actually put a cathode bypass cap here, like a dummy, not thinking. So I'm going to clip that sucker out. That'll certainly have something to do with something. That'll mess up your negative feedback for sure. But yeah, I'm going to dial this back up, and then we'll do a Pepsi challenge with and without the bypass capacitor there in that position. And then we'll check voltages, and if the voltage, you know, coming off the rectifier tube is too high, we will address that. Here we go. Alright, we've got her dialed up. The volume is on 3, so it's at 9 o'clock. So it's fairly turned up, and yeah, with the AX7, it's... That's just too much gain for this little bad boy right here. As fun as it is. Alright, first things first, we're going to cut the cathode bypass capacitor out of the second stage, preamp stage, and see what that does. Stay tuned for that, you don't want to miss that. Alright, I've been tweaking on this thing all day, and this is what I found. When I fed the amplifier with 115 volts, and this is off the current limiter, when you're doing voltages, you don't want to be on the current limiter. You know, your voltages won't be accurate. So we're plugged straight into the variac with 115 volts. We were getting spot on 325 volts AC on the secondary of the power transformer. But, you know, modern wall voltages, 120 volts from the wall, you know, that goes up to 338, which is a little bit high. So what we did was we added a 12 volt 5 watt Zener diode, and that is right here in between the center tap of your high voltage windings and ground. So between here and ground is that Zener diode, and that knocks down the voltage a little bit. But also playing around, I won't get into the nitty gritty, but did a lot of tweaking, and we ended up with a 15K dropping resistor here and a 39K dropping resistor here, and we pretty much nailed, or very close to it, the voltages that we need. Well, what else do we have here? 250. We're at 254 at the supply voltage for the preamp tubes. Alright, what else did we do? And finally, we biased it. We have a 671 ohm resistor here, and that put us at like 12.4 watts of plate dissipation, you know, which is slightly over 100%, but, you know, the new old stock Sylvania can probably handle that without a sweat. So, yeah, I'm going to call this done, except for the volume pop. We need to order one and change that out to a nice CTS or, you know, a quality alpha pot, 1 meg there. But, no big deal there. But she sounds really nice now. Even with the 12AX7, it's no longer friggin' sounds like Cannibal Corpse. you know, if you turn it up past 3. So that's real nice. So I'm going to package her all up, and I'll play a couple of quick little notes here. We need to do a demo and put this into a mix to, you know, mic it up, let you know how it really sounds, because the phone audio really does not do this thing justice, nor does my playing. But, you know, you got to play the cards that you dealt, so it is what it is. All right, so let's pack her up, and I'll play a few notes. Oh, hell yeah. That was the right move right there, fixing that grill cloth. That looks tight. Tight, tight, tight. If it ain't tight, it ain't right.
Serious.
Please.
All right, we got our little champ mic'd up and everything. It's all put back together, ready to rock. She sounds so good, I took the time to stick a mic in front of her. See if I can play something. Here we go. The volume is about halfway up. So any volume adjustments will be done on the guitar. Well, there you have it. How fun is this little guy? Wait, stop, wait, no. We ain't done here yet. We got more to do on this sucker. It's been about 3 weeks since you saw that. No, that's not what it's been. It's been about 3 weeks since I did that last clip, filmed that last clip. So I have no idea what the hell the rest of this movie's about and won't find out until I edit it. But I do know the last thing I did was mic the Champ up. Tried to do a little demo, and when I listened back to it, it sounded like friggin' dog shit. To me, anyway. These things are subjective. It was just woolly as hell. You know, it sounded like somebody threw this amp into a lumberjack's hamper and mic'd the hamper up.
The crash of mighty trees. With my best girl by my side, we'd sing, sing, sing.
It's weird. I've found that amps that sound really good in the room sound kind of crappy when they're mic'd up, and amps that sound shitty in the room sound really good mic'd up in a mix. So who knows? Who knows? Anyway, we're gonna try and voice this sucker. So that's what the rest of this video, I believe, will be about. But so yeah, hang in there. I think we're almost done with this sucker. Check this bad boy out. Hammond AO29. It's a 6v6 push-pull. What I was thinking of doing with this thing was making an 18-watt Marshall, a 4001. What do they call it? Studio 15. But we got all these preamp tube sockets here. This power transformer can, you know, we can do some fun stuff with this preamp here. We got the current capacity to run a bunch of crap. So I was thinking of making the Soldano Super Lead Overdrive 6v6 version with this, because this will do it. But I was also thinking of, well, why don't we make a half a Marshall and half a Fender? You know, we'll make a Marsher.
Marsha!
Do the 15-watt Studio 15. And then on the other side, I don't know, maybe like a Princeton, 2-channel amp. Princeton on one side, you know, Marshall on the other. And if we do our preamp right, I think we can jump the channels, and who knows? We're going to have some fun with that one. Anyway, something cool to look forward to. But, yeah, let's get back on track here. Let's wrap this sucker up. Alright, I got you set up on Mr. Tripod. Hopefully you can see everything well here. We're doing our best. So, I was doing some research on how to get more treble and high end out of a Champ, and, you know, you would think this amplifier with this little 6-inch speaker would, you know, be killing you with treble. But it doesn't. And I watched the demo video from Eminence of this speaker, and it's very capable of producing the tone that I'm kind of looking for. So it's probably, you know, our circuit here. But it just seems strange, you know, Fender Champs aren't known to be not, you know, trebly and not to be woolly, but they come with, you know, the original ones come with Alnico speakers and stuff like that, but whatever. We are at where we are at, so we're going to take it from here and hopefully fix it. So in my research, there are a few ways to do this. We could add, you know, an EQ or a tone knob. I don't want to go down that route. We know that coming out of V1, the signal passes through a 0.02 microfarad capacitor. We could lower the value on this capacitor, and the coupling capacitor allows the AC frequency to go through, but the lower the value capacitor, the less low end it is. You need a big wide or a big high value capacitor to let the big frequencies to get through, or the lower ones, I should say, lower frequencies. Hopefully that makes sense. We know we can do that, but instead of cutting stuff out, what we can also do is have some fun here with this bypass capacitor. And what the bypass capacitor does is, we're using a 25 microfarad bypass capacitor, and this is a large value, so the entire audio frequency is being boosted through this tube. What we can do is we can lower this value, and we get to a certain amount where it starts shelving off low end the lower we go with this. And why don't we break out the book of Blendco? And here, hopefully you can see this. Nah, you can't see shit. Hold on. Alright, here's the book of Blendco. Yeah, we can make it look like the tube's screaming hot. Here's the book of Blendco, second edition. Page 25. If you want to freeze your screen, read that. And come over to page 26. Read that. Look at this chart. And then finish up our lesson right there. This is what we read. I kind of have my head wrapped around it, but this is what we're interested in right here. Here's the frequency response. Here's pretty much most of the audio frequency. It goes from 20 to 20K, but this is, you know, 10K. Anything over 10K is like super duper high. My ears probably can't even hear it at this point. But here is the value of the capacitor and how much gain we're getting. So it goes down to 22, so 25 is even higher there. So we're basically boosting the entire frequency range. And we want to be somewhere down here, maybe 100 nano. So what we're going to do is going to break out the jumper wires, and we're going to disconnect this guy here, and we're going to jump in and we're going to experiment. Now, a lot of hooty snooty people, the hoity-toities, will want you to do math and, you know, pick your decibels and your frequencies and stick it into a formula and choose the appropriate bypass capacitor. But we ain't hoity-toity around here. We like using our ears, so we're going to test out some different bypass capacitors and see what happens. Here we go. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. We're going to get this piece of crap China volume pot out of there and replace it with this nice alpha pot. And this is convenient because that coupling cap that's going to the pot is the coupling cap in question. Oh wait, I forgot, we're not going that route. But it is one we can mess with if this doesn't work, so whatever. We'll figure it out. Alright, here is the cathode bypass capacitor in question, 25 microfarads. This little mod, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's going to be a little tricky to get in there, but we'll get it done. Alright, we got the amplifier fired up. Where the frack is Mr. Pointer? We lifted the leg, the ground side leg of our cathode bypass capacitor for the first tryout of V1, and I can tell you already this is a step in the right direction. We lost a bunch of volume. I don't know if we lost headroom, but it certainly changed the character of the saturation and drive. But the actual sound of the tone, the way the tone shaping or sculpting, whatever, we're definitely in the right direction. So let me give you a quick little ditty. So this is unbypassed, and we're about halfway up on the volume. And yeah, it's much better. I mean, even the bridge position, even with the best of amps, this guitar can sound a little bit muffled and woolly in the, not the bridge position, the neck position, but definitely much better. Now we'll go ahead and ground the bypass capacitor. You hear that? Yeah, it just sounds shitty. Now still, it's a little tough to tell because we got the speaker out of the cabinet on the bench and it's facing up, so the cone is working against gravity, so nobody likes that, but alright, so hopefully the mic didn't clip. So what we're going to do now is grab some capacitors and we'll sub in some values and, you know, see how she sounds. Alright, we're going to use this Marshall 4001 Studio 15 schematic, the sample we were talking about earlier, for an example. And this is V1, first triode. And both the Champ and this amp and many amps use 1.5K cathode bias resistors for 12AX7s. But Fender uses a lot of 25 microfarad. This is a 0.68 micro that Marshall is using. So I'm going to see if I have a 0.68 and take it from there. Because we're going from 25 micro to, you know, half of 1 micro. So that's quite a bit of difference. So let's start there and see what we get. Alright, so what I have in stock that will suit the purposes here are these guys here. Can you see that? And right now I've got a 0.56 installed, but I also tried a 0.47 and a 0.33. And I think we're going to go with the 0.56. Any bigger value than that, I think we're going to get back into the woolly mammoth territory. But you be the judge. So this is what we got going on over here. Can you see that? I'm trying to do this with Mr. Tripod. Put this guy in with jumpers. Jumpers! Might as well jump. Volume on the amp is all the way up. So we're just controlling it with the volume knob on our guitar. So that's that. And then I'll swap out down to the 0.47. Alright, here's the 0.47. Everything else is the same. Seems like it's starting to get a little gnarly on the top end, a little greasy and a little gnarly, and not necessarily in a good way. But just for giggles and shits, we'll throw in the 0.33. Alright, we got the 0.33 installed. know how well that's going to translate over to the camera here, but in the room, I think the obvious choice is the 0.56. So let me get this guy out. We got to do the volume pot, get that guy out, replace the volume pot, tidy all this up, and then we'll throw it back in the cab and see what we got. Oh, all right, there it is, all put back together. Can you see all that? Probably not. I replaced the wire film resistors with carbon comp, so both cathodes of the 12AX7 now have mojo.
I have your mojo.
And then here's our new bypass capacitor for the first cathode bias resistor of that 12AX7. And the other triode doesn't get bypassed, according to Leo. Got the new pot in there. We tidied things up a little bit. It's looking a little bit nicer. Yeah, let's pop her back in the cab, see what we got. All right, got her all dialed up. New volume pot is nice and smooth. That'll work. I'm buttoning her all back together, and if I remember correctly, I flipped this back door to be this way. I don't know why they make the back doors like this. I flipped it, if I did flip it, I flipped it so we'd have the opening up here, and, you know, heat rises, and hopefully, you know, we'll get convection cooling here instead of having the hole here, you know, down here. You see that? But I don't know why they put this hole here behind the speaker. I'd rather see the hole here, so you let your tubes breathe. And although I understand you want to kind of protect them a little bit, but have the wood part behind the speaker so that the sound has something to push against. But, you know, whatever. This is what it is. All right, 4 more screws, then we'll fire her up. All right, here we are. Volume's all the way up. Just using the volume on the guitar. 7591, is that the tube we're using in there, or something like that? I'll put it on the screen if I'm wrong. It's not the AX7, it's Buddy's friggin' unobtainium GE tube. But, here we go. Lemonade. Alright, check this out. Watch me butcher this. Just learned it.
Led Zeppelin.
You like Huey Lewis in the news?
They're okay.
Well, there you go. There you have it. What a sweet little honey this amplifier is. Doesn't she look awesome? Sounds great now, too. Sounds much better with those little changes we did there. There you go. This is where this lives. You don't even need this. All you need is, well, you don't even need an on-off switch. You just need to plug it into the wall. Get rid of that. Just have it on 10 on the whole time. Or actually, this amp goes to 12. Have it on 12 the whole time. You just, you know, use the volume pot on your guitar and you're good to go. But anyway, added feature. Yeah, great sounding amp. I'm glad I took the time to make those little mods on it. It sounds much, much better. But that's gonna wrap this sucker up. We're gonna have to put this on the Rumble dyno, and I gotta get caught up on making some demos here. I gotta do a demo for the Prince of Darkness. We gotta find a song or a drum track for this little bad boy to make a demo of. But we got a lot of things going on. We'll get around to it when we get around to it. And when we get around to it, it'll be gotten around to. So thanks for coming. Hope you learned something. I know I did. And rock on, dudes and dudettes.
Done.